All right, we back with People's Choice with another lit linguistics artist. We have Rychuss Wun here.
What's up?
Yeah, and Rychuss Wun, we just want to say it's a pleasure and honor to have you on the lineup. We handpick every artist, you know, and we try to fill a whole void with a vibe and words, and you were a perfect fit, so we're glad to have you. But the first thing I ask everybody is, why poetry?
Why poetry? Well, it started for me back, I was probably 15.
Okay.
A big change in my life happened. My father took his own life.
Damn.
And prior to that, there was abuse. So around that, just the time leading up to him taking his own life, we had kind of started talking more. You know, he was sharing things with me. He was sending me different things to kind of, I didn't realize what he was doing. He was sending me things that I would remember him for. And, you know, accomplishments, you know, like things that he had done. And so the time came when he took his own life. It was basically his 36th birthday. So he didn't want to, you know, he was done at that time. Part of the thing I looked at was, initially I thought, okay, because part of me was like, I wanted to get bigger so I could face it at age 18. But you know, he took his life when I was 15. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm kind of thinking like, you robbed me of a chance to face you, and let's get this out. And whatever I had to take at that time, I would take it. I'd be able to take it. You know, he might have still with me, but I still, you know what I'm saying? I'd be able to stand up to him and take it and talk to him and ask him why. But I later found out there was like this letter that he wrote. In this letter, he talked about, by the time y'all read this, I already be gone. And there was a bunch of other stuff, but towards the end, he talked about, I'm worth more dead than alive. And because he had been diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and a few other mental illnesses, he was disabled, you know, by the federal government, declared, you know, different, you know, like I said, all the mental issues that were going on. So all he had for us was his VA benefits. When he was deceased, his benefits were doubled. Now granted, that's not a whole lot of money, right? But at the time, he made a choice based on what he felt was the best thing that he could do for his family. So fast forward into me discovering within it was a photo album, baby pictures and stuff like that. And on one of the pictures, he wrote like this poem or piece or something declaring, this is my son and his pride and this, and I saw that.
Wow.
And that connected me.
Wow. And
that made me at that point want to write, to try to get through everything that I've been through, and then I'm getting closer to him in spirit. So that started the journey for writing for him.
That's quite the story. Wow, that's poetic. Yes, poetic to say the least. You know, most poets do come from a lot of trauma, and it's such a pillar of healing for all of us in the community, and your story tells nonetheless. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem. Always.
I know as poets we're vulnerable on the stage, but you know, interviews can be a little bit different, so I appreciate that. But okay, so where did you grow up? You said you moved here to St. Louis, so
right.
Where did you come from and when?
Born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Okay.
Okay, so like all my school years were in New Orleans.
Okay.
From like first grade onto graduation, high school. So all that was in New Orleans, and then about age 20, I joined the Air Force. And
yeah, hold on. That's cool. We cut all that out,
yeah.
though.
I'll just listen to that.
Of all things that could have came, though.
Yeah.
Really, a fucking fire truck?
Yeah.
Not a bus,
maybe
not
just,
nothing, a fucking fire truck.
Maybe it's just for lunch. I don't know. It's just
Y'all gonna be in the footage, bro. We cutting you out, dog. Yeah, we cutting you out.
No, you could have been
Okay, we're gonna start the whole question off.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so you said that you moved here to St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
When did you move and from where?
All right. So I was born and raised in New Orleans. Joined the military at age 20. After the military, I started working as a contractor, and I was in the DMV area, so Maryland, DC, Virginia. Right?
Okay.
And then the contract moved to Scott Air Force Base. So that brings me to this area, and then after all of that, finally getting here, getting the courage to kind of like, or getting, I don't know what it was, feeling like I might be running out of time or whatever, to get out on stages more in front of audiences that weren't like gonna just be polite, because like, you know, military, growing up in churches and like schools even,
Yeah.
for the most part, they're gonna clap just because you did the effort. You know, just getting up there is impressive enough.
Right.
So, you know, and yeah, you know, it's like knowing, like, man, they booed Tupac. By the time I got here, they had already, you know, that had happened. So I was like, okay, all right. So if I'm gonna do something, you know, let me go see what it's like out here. And I can say that, you know, coming here, started around 2007. You know, hitting places like Legacy or Cafe Soul and everything that was current at the time. You know, getting different people in those scenes that I was like in wow and awe of them, to say, all right, boom, you dope, and you know, come around and it's like that. You know, that's kind of how I started in this city.
And so what year was that?
That was around 2007, late 2007. Yeah.
Okay, I missed that, my bad. Okay, so once you got here, who was some of the people that kind of like took you under wing? Did anybody take you under wing?
Now, take under wing was a bit hard, because like, so granted, by the time I get here, I'm a full-grown man. I'm 35.
Right.
And so I'm coming in even a little different, because every time I'm coming in doing something that basically I was an artist, a singer and songwriter, and then I wanted to make sure that my words could stand on their own. And then that's what kind of made me perform more and more at the poetry open mics. Like, if I can earn the respect of folks who I feel that's a real poet, and if they hear what I say and say, all right, you saying something, and
Who was
you
in
belong
people?
here. So those people were, Brother Teen was the first.
Oh, lovely.
Brother Teen was the first one to come to me, just straight up one-on-one, and just like in that handshake, you dope.
Yeah.
When I got that, I was like, all right, boom. MK Stallings, Lewis, who was young but still, you know, as dope as he is and as influential as he is now, he's always been from the first time I seen him, basically. So those are the top three. I mean, there are definitely a few others, like, you know, you got Shay Brown, you got Lightning, you got Kels, you know, Sir Urban, you know, like, you know, from the poetry side, and then folks on the music side, Wild Man, CJ Conrad, man, you know, it's a big list. It's a big list of people that, like, it's a big list to me, because though it's not like hundreds of people, these people carry weight based on what I saw them doing and how active they were in the scene.
Yeah.
And just to take the time to say, all right, I appreciate what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? That was big. That was big.
So, okay, so you started coming around like Cafe Soul, Legacy. Them were some of your first stages here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay, so did you ever venture out and do any of your own open mics?
Yes. Probably 2009.
Okay.
2009 for about maybe 7-8 months. And because I lived in, you know, working at Scott, I lived in Illinois for a while. So there was this place over in Belleville called the Cigar Inn. I think it's still there, and I'm pretty sure that Charles Hess is still the owner there. He's doing a lot of jazz stuff now, but at the time, I did. I forgot words at the end, or something like that, lyrics at the end, something like that. And so when I first started circulating, I had my own set, and I was networking to reach out with people. It was one of the big things that I was doing at the time. So yeah, about 9 months I did that open mic, and then a few other little things here and there with a production company I called Thunderground Production, which is still active, but just like, you know, I'm doing mostly music. So,
Okay. All right. And then so now here we are. What do you say would change from the open mic scene then to now? Good, bad, and different.
To be fair, I would say I'm most of my judgment or observation is based on outside.
Right.
Because I'm not in open mic scenes as much as I was. You know, back then you could find me if there was an open mic every day. One week I'm hitting 4, I'm hitting the next ones I missed. The next week, that type of thing. So I would go to, you know, a lot of stuff, at least 4 or 5 a week, sometimes 2 or 3 a day on the weekends, you know, depending on what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I was heavily in the scene, just, you know, not always my stuff. It's just supporting, you know, just being out there. So the difference, I would say, from just observation and judging the climate off of what I see, how people interact. At some point, building a community became secondary to saying we're going to sell an experience to a consumer. By that, to sell an experience to a consumer, you have to stand out in a way that makes the consumer, who might not be that studied in poetry and open mic scenes, you have to convince them before they get there that your thing is the best thing.
Right.
So I've seen that change, that shift, you know, for some, you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, I don't hold judgment for anybody who does that. And I don't think it's like, I'm not to say like, you know, everything was kumbaya back then. There was drama, you know, like drama back then, like there is now, for different reasons. But I think it seems a little more competitive just on the outside. There seems like there's some crews that rock together over here, and some that rock together over there.
You're talking about competing with each other.
Yeah, competing with each other. Like,
right.
Like it's funny. It's like there'll be like 2 or 3 different promoters or producers of events that always rock with these people, and then the same thing is happening over here. And every now and then things may cross, you know, but you know, whether it be hurt feelings, misunderstandings, or whatever like that, it would be nice if at least once a year, once a quarter, we could kind of like put differences to the side and come together for the sake of, you know, pushing forward the art. You know, that'd be nice to see. Hopefully I'm a part of it.
Yes, I agree. That's what we're trying to be a part of and start right here. Is we don't care if I don't have to like you personally. We want to showcase you and the talent and the healing tool that poetry is. And, you know, so yeah, that's definitely what, yeah, that's why you on the show. That's why everybody's on the show, that we handpick and just certain lineups for certain shows that I think will mesh well. But, as far as community goes, you got any people you want to shout out?
Let's shout out everybody who's keeping everything going right now. Shout out yourself, you know, with the People's Choice, and doing your thing. Shout out Metaphor, shout out Artemis, the folks who are doing now the battle poetry, which I never thought I'd be a part of, but
it's pretty dope.
You know, it's dope to, like, you know, and one, like, back to when you said first, being an honor to, you know, to have me on the set. It's an honor to be remembered and included. You know, just based on, y'all don't have to remember nothing that I ever did. Like, even if you saw it, and even if somebody told you he was dope, and even if you saw it in person and thought, okay, cool, but, you know, he's not like whatever. For whatever reason, people might not say, okay, I don't know if he's going to do numbers at the door, whatever, because not seeing people on a certain type of stage. But to be included, to be remembered, to be embraced, to regain the respect again from the younger folks who have never seen me, that's an honor in itself for me. You know, so I forgot what you said with the shout out. Yeah, yourself. Like I said, Metaphor, Artemis, always Lewis. That's my bro. 16 bars. You know, everybody from the the soul vibe era. MK Stallings, that's my bro right there, with Herb Arts. Susan Spitfire, always consistently reaching out whenever she got something good going on. Anybody who I missed that I've shared a word with, like that's given me any kind of encouragement, you know, definitely, you know, I wanna shout you out. And my mother, my sister, my wife, my kids, you know, for putting up with me even having still this inkling and urge inside of me to do this thing, and having the patience to give me the space to indulge that, you know, because as a creative, if you don't get to create after a certain amount of time, it can mess with your head, you know. And my wife for being so understanding, you know, that's the biggest reason, and she still wants to see me perform. So that's great. So that's so yeah.
So before we let go, so your dad was 36. How old are you?
Right now, I will be 50 next April 4th.
Wow, you definitely don't look it. Okay.
Hey.
And then okay, so you got, I mean, a nice, you superseded his age, his dreams,
right.
His passions, and all of that. So looking at your life now, what would you say to your dad?
I'm not done. I got more to do, you know? I mean, I did everything. Like, there was a time where I would look at everything he did and say, I gotta do better. And I know he'd be proud of the fact that I did that. But, you know, there was times where I let certain little things kind of hold me back from where the potential was, you know?
Yeah.
So, you know, like I said, I'm about to turn 50. I'm looking at people like Nas and stuff on their second prime. You know what I'm saying? So it's a beautiful thing right now to see that age is no longer a restriction. If you dope, you dope. People receive that. You know, that's the encouraging thing that keeps me, again, like not giving up and keep pushing on.
And it's people like you that make the people coming in be like, dope, like, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be, this is, you know what I'm saying, like, you giving them, you paving ways for people that you ain't even met yet, you know what I'm saying? So kudos to you for pushing through everything you went through in life and superseding that shit, man. For real, kudos to you, because that's a hell of a story. And I tell everybody we love you and we appreciate you.
Yeah. Steph, peace.
People's Choice, Linguistics, ready to lay down the truth.
Rychuss Wun. Out.
Perfect, bro.